In a hurry, always. I was running the stairs. What's that? Yeah. Yeah, I was sprinting. Oh, man. I had to run the bathroom again. And that would end after about 40 minutes longer than what I was meeting with Sunday.
As soon as the state's attorney arrives, we will get this meeting started. So,
Yeah, should run a sleeping day.
okay.
Speaking of the devil.
All right. I will call this meeting of the Shelby County Electoral Board to order. I will take roll call. Jessica Fox is here.
Robert Hamlin is here.
Erica Fernhaber. Okay, everybody is present. This time I call for public body comment if there is any. Anybody want to speak? The petitioners and objectioners will get a chance to speak when that point comes, but if there's anybody else that has public body comment. Okay, moving on. Okay, by statute, I've got appointments on the agenda. By statute, the electoral board is the county clerk as board chair. The hearing officers in this instance are State's Attorney Robert Hamlin, and in light of the fact that there was a challenge against a circuit clerk candidate, the treasurer is taking the place of the circuit clerk's office, and I have the recording secretary. Here's my deputy clerk, Angie Bricker. So take a motion to approve those appointments.
So moved.
Second? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Okay, the petitioners and objectioners, as well as the hearing board, should have received the adoption of the rules of procedure. Mr. Hamlin did meet with me this morning, and he wanted to make sure that we added into those that we have the right to address.
Oh, actually, you have it in there,
Okay.
the board can make the relevant inquiries. But what's not in there that I would like to have added is at this point in time, I'd like to have anybody who's going to testify or speak either on favor of, objection, or on behalf of a candidate, be sworn in, so we can swear everybody in all at once, and then we can address things as the simple, and if you want, I can be happy to swear in if you want.
I will let you do that.
Okay. Who here intends to speak with respect to the petition objections and/or the candidates that are present? Okay, Mr. Pope, Martha Fernhaber, ma'am, your name?
Patricia Poppet Malden.
And the sir behind you?
Mr. Rainey.
Mr.
John
Rainey.
Barry.
Paul, would you all of you raise your right hand? You swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Yes, sir.
All right, then you'll be under oath for the duration of this hearing, and I'll take it to the next thing. We now have, it's your meeting.
Okay, I would make motion to adopt the rules of procedure as amended.
As amended, so moved.
All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Okay, we are going to get to the objection of Martha Fernhaber and John Pogue in Shelbyville Precinct 6 versus Patricia Poppet Malding, a candidate for precinct committee person. I would first call on Martha. You filed yours first. If you have anything you would like to say.
I guess mine's just a question. Do we read this? Do we
No,
need to read
no,
any part
everybody,
of this?
everybody has received it, so everybody should have had a chance to review. Do you have anything to say in addition to that?
Just that I think it's pretty clear cut, the number of errors and whatnot, it's pretty clear cut that the petition should be rejected.
Martha, may I inquire, you notice that on one of the petitions, it references Shelby Precinct 6, and the other one 10. Do you know how many signatures are required?
I've been told 10, but I don't know for a fact. I did not read statute.
10.
10. And without the signatures on the page that read 10, are there adequate number of signatures?
No.
It's less than a page, correct?
It's less than a page. Only because there's 10 signatures, but one is not within precinct 6.
And which one is that?
Kathy Rustler,
What do you base that upon?
her address.
Okay, and did you compare that address to an address of a map, and do you have a map that you wish us to consider?
I don't have a copy of the map.
You know whether or not that person's in, from your review of the clerk's office, the clerk's office right now.
Well,
Actually,
she has a map.
Can you just identify where the signatures that you're objecting to from, they're situated in?
This is Lodge, North Lodge Street,
Mhm.
and the signature of that person is on Lodge, which is in precinct 7.
Okay, as opposed to where's precinct 6 on this map?
This lighter blue,
So Lodge is one block in,
or
or,
block that way, yes, that's Lodge.
okay.
John, did you have anything you wanted to say?
Just after weighing all the objections that we've come up with, and I've taken the applicant's technical candidacy along with the signatures, and I put dots on every one that we have as objections. I have 17 different dots of the complaints and objections of the candidacy.
Any questions?
Did you have anything you wanted to say, Ms. Coleman?
I'm new to this. I own my errors. I know I made some clerical errors, and if I'm able to rectify them, or if I know at this point you probably can't, but I would still like to be considered. I know I made some errors, and I'm owning them.
May I address Ms. Baldwin? Do you agree, when you talk about the errors that you made that you own, is that in putting in the incorrect district on at least one petition as well as your statement of candidacy?
Yeah.
In your mind, is there any way that somebody not familiar with what your intent was could decipher that you really intended to be heard on a District 6 petition as opposed to this unknown District 10?
I meant precinct 6.
Okay, and so you meant 6, but objectively, when you look at the papers that you filed, would you say that there are 4 precinct 6 that you looked at objectively yourself?
I'm sorry, I don't understand the question.
If you look at your own papers, does that lead you to conclude precinct 6 or precinct 10 that does not exist?
It should be precinct 6,
Okay.
District 10.
Okay, so with respect to the precinct number, is it your position that any one of us would be able to decipher that you really intended precinct 6?
That would depend on knowledge of the area, I guess. I mean, I thought I was staying within the boundaries of my precinct. So,
So what I'm trying to get at here is, if you were to look at your own petition, would your own petition suggest to you a precinct 6 or a precinct 10 objectively if you just looked at it?
well, I know that I wrote precinct 6 on that paperwork.
Okay, on one of the pages, one petition. There's one petition that says 6, one that said 10, correct?
Yes,
And is there any way
District 10.
that someone looking at when you were petitioning and asking for signatures, that they would have known that they were signing for precinct 6 as opposed to 10?
Well, I specifically went to places that I knew, that I thought I knew were in precinct 6, so there shouldn't have been a question. And as far as I knew, the people that signed it knew that they were signing for precinct 6.
Okay, and how did you know that they knew that?
Well, I spoke with, I mean, I didn't everything but looked at their card, their voter card. I mean, I did the best I could with,
So did you ask them if they were in precinct 6?
Yeah.
I have no further questions for this.
No, I think in terms of that one, we're good in terms of what needs to be discussed. We'll go over the Otis Bang and then we'll make a decision on both, if that's okay?
Oh, yeah, that's
Okay, all right. The next objection was for Chris Bain versus Peter Otis as a candidate for Shelby County Circuit Clerk due to the failure to write the year on some of the petition sheets for the general primary, and a couple of the sheets had no date at all. Mr. Bain, do you have anything you want to say?
Would you like me to come sit up there? Would
You
it be
can do
better?
whatever you want, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So I'm not an election law expert, not a lawyer. The reason I filed is because this position is particularly important for navigating the complex bureaucracy of the courthouse. It's vitally important to that. So I just was hoping to get a ruling from an impartial panel on this. It's sheets 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 11, 12, and 13 of the candidate's nomination papers. He fails to indicate the year in which the general primary is to be held. So they say March 19th, but not 2024. On sheet number 9, he fails to indicate both the date and the year in which the general primary election is to be held. So it's March, but neither 19 or 2024 on there. Sheet number 14, the month, the date, and the year in which the general primary election is to be held are omitted entirely. So it seems to be not in compliance with the election code as I understand it. And further, by omitting the year in which the general primary election is to be held on some sheets, omitting the date on one sheet, omitting the month, date, and year on another, the candidate further violates the statute, which reads that the heading of each sheet will be the same. And there are a couple of other things that I'd like to address regarding the composition of the panel, determining the fate of these objections. On sheet number 4 of Mr. Otis's petition, you will find the name and signature for Ms. Fernhaber, who is sitting on this panel to determine whether or not that this petition will go forward and whether he'll be on the ballot. A member of Mr. Otis's family signed Mr. Hanlon's petition to be state's attorney that has been withdrawn. Furthermore, Mr. Hanlon has been heard referring to me as an idiot in a local restaurant, has attacked me verbally in committee meetings for county government and in print online, questioning my intelligence and my character on numerous occasions. I'm not an election law expert by any stretch, but I do believe the person running for circuit clerk should be able to navigate forms for election if they plan on navigating the complex and intricate bureaucracy that comes with being the circuit clerk. That position is vital to the smooth functioning of this courthouse and the court proceedings. My objection was made to get a ruling based on the statutes and the concern regarding improper filing for someone asked to be given the trust of the public to handle this office. I do not believe the panel is constituted is capable of rendering that ruling based upon the inherent biases of two of the panelists sitting, Ms. Fernhaber and Mr. Hanlon. Both have biases that they are not acknowledging by sitting in this panel, and I'm surprised they did not recuse themselves, as even if this petition is allowed to go through, Mr. Otis' candidacy now would carry the stain of being approved by a biased panel. The ruling may, in fact, represent the law. I don't know. Like I said, I'm not an expert. And Mr. Otis' petitions may not be fatally flawed. I don't know. I'm not a lawyer. But I do believe that failing to check one's biases is part of an ongoing transparency problem with some of our local elected officials. That's my concern. Those are my concerns.
Mr. Otis, did you have anything that you wanted to say?
The election is on March 19th, correct? Does anybody question what year that's going to happen? Is anybody confused about that? Now, as far as the objector's petition, he's not a legal expert, but as the Edgar Watchdogs pointed out, his petition to object wasn't filed correctly because his name, address, and other things are not listed in the petition. So I would ask that his objection be thrown out based on that.
It is true that Mr. Bain's objection failed to list his name and his residence address. And the state of relief that he was actually seeking from the electoral board, well, I know it does say that he doesn't think that Mr. Otis's name should be put on the ballot. It doesn't state what relief he is seeking from this board. Also, the petition should state the interest of the objector and the full nature of the objection to the nomination papers or the petitions in question, which I believe that you did by stating the date wasn't on there. Research that I've done from a case out of DuPage County specifically states that minor errors do not invalidate election petitions. You know, that's kind of like, I know there's a hearing in another county going on because somebody misspelled a word. The bottom line is leaving the year and the date technically off doesn't necessarily change the date of the general election primary. But do you have anything?
Yeah, I have some questions for Mr. Bain. Mr. Bain, you appeared in the courthouse, filed this petition of yours, your objection petition on December the 11th at approximately 3:58 p.m.
Yep.
Is that correct?
Yes.
When you entered the courthouse that day, did you have all the copies that you required when you entered the courthouse that day?
No, I did not.
Okay, and did you enter the clerk's office at 3:58 p.m. to file that without the extra copies? Is that correct, yes or no?
Is that relevant to what it is that we're doing here?
You're under oath. I've asked you a question. You've
Do
chosen
I have to answer that
candidacy.
question?
I'm expecting an answer to my
I'm
question.
not going to answer that question.
Are you exercising your Fifth Amendment privilege?
Sure am.
So I'd have to ask that his entire testimony be stricken because he refuses to answer questions upon cross-examination pursuant to the Illinois Code of Civil Procedure since he's exercising his Fifth Amendment privilege. Would you like to reconsider your position?
Would not.
Okay. I'd also move that his failure to have all the copies that were required at the time of filing creates unlawful electioneering in the courthouse and not be stricken based upon that. Mr. Bain, did you read the election code with respect to your objection when you before you filed it?
I had read the paragraph that I have here.
And you understand the election code's more than a paragraph, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and your petition does not state that you have an interest in that particular election, does it?
Can you explain what you mean, sir?
It doesn't state what the nature of your interest is in the election.
My
Is it-
interest in it? My interest is I'm a voter in this particular district. Is that what you're,
Does
is that
it
what you're driving at,
say,
sir?
does it say in this piece of paper that you filed, does that state even have the word interest in it?
No.
No, of course it doesn't. And it doesn't have your name on it, right?
No.
And it doesn't have your address on it, right?
Nope.
Also move that on the substance of his petition and the admissions made on the record, that his objection be stricken as well. Can you need to go over it now?
We'll deliberate right here. Regarding the Fernhaber Pogue objection to Patricia Poppet Malding, the bottom line is on your statement of candidacy, you filed for an office that does not exist in Shelby County. I don't think there's any way around the fact that you filed for a district that does not exist. I would make a motion that the objection of Malding's petition for precinct committee person be sustained.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
I'll
motion
withdraw mine.
carries. Motion passes.
Can I withdraw mine at this point? I'll withdraw mine. The point that I wanted to make was about the bias of the
We're not here
and I
to
made
make
that.
a point. The election board is over. This meeting is going to follow its agenda. It's not here for you just to pontificate.
Okay, I need to prepare a written decision in lieu of Mr. Bain withdrawing his objection to Mr. Otis's petitions. I will prepare a written decision for both Malding and Pogue. So you all just give me a few minutes to prepare that, if you guys wouldn't mind. Yeah. So, okay, I will be back.
Man.
Yeah, so I'll have you guys sign it too. I'll probably, if it's okay with Chris and Mr. Otis, I will, is it okay if I email you your written decision? That way I can, let these guys get back to what they need to do. If it's okay with Pogue and Fernhaber and Ms. Malding, I'll email your written decision as well after I've had it signed. Okay, so thank you very much. This meeting is adjourned. Thank you for your time. All